if you're given this big old data fire hose, right, how to pull the gems out, to separate the signals from the noise, and to get that into a format, either written or verbal, where you can communicate that essential information to senior decision makers. The entire gamut of communication processes, whether it's writing your boss an email that trims out all the fat, bottom line up front, hands off to him or her the information that they absolutely need to go to that meeting and make a case, right? But that communication emphasis is so important, and that's one of the facets of this particular curriculum that I think is pretty exciting. There are so many facets to it. There are so many situational awareness things. Like if I hear that North Korea is in the news, why is this so complicated? Why have we been at this for so many years and this is still an issue, right? The students walking out of this curriculum are going to have a much better grasp by reading up on that and the things that we've done in the past, as far as diplomacy, as far as history, things like that, and cultural differences that make that such a hard nut to crack. But I mean, that's just one example. There are a lot of complicated issues that we're going to cover in this curriculum. There's an ethics class, there's counterterrorism, there's law enforcement, and an entire class on the Cold War. So that we are handing off to our graduates the toolbox that they can open up anytime after they graduate from Newman to wrestle with these complicated issues. They're going to have that background when they're asked, hey, go find out information on that complicated issue because I need everything I can before this big meeting. Right? We are going to have that analyst, that staff person available to do that at the end of this process. The BSI program is applicable to both traditional students and non-traditional students by virtue of the fact that it's online. And depending how much previous education you come to Newman with, we can get a person through the program in as little as 24 months. Right? One of the things that I found when I was in public service is I'd be somewhere in some corner of the world, and if I had internet access at the end of my day, working an 8 to 12 hour shift, you go hit the gym, you eat, and then you've got time to better yourself. So this is flexible to that person. Not to mention the person that does a job all day and then comes home and cooks and then puts their kids to bed, and then they've got time to better themselves. So wherever you are in the world, if you can sit down to a computer somewhere, you can get to the BSI course. What we want to do, again, is to get a person who is comfortable analyzing all this information and, again, conveying it to someone so that they can make a good decision and they can justify it given the information that's been collected. No matter where you are in your life, no matter where you are in an organization, no matter where you are, if you're a freshman in college and you've never had a job in your life, what this program does is it educates you on how to go get information and to put it into a format where you can communicate it to people who make decisions, and then to facilitate those decisions. Every single entity, every organization has to have senior decision makers. And if those senior decision makers are looking at you for answers, then you're, well, marketable and essential. The BSI course, ultimately, the ultimate ideal goal is to educate a person with a holistic curriculum to go out into the world and plug and play, to plug in somewhere, again, whether it's the private or the public sector, and be able to show up and be an essential part of that senior decision maker's staff by virtue of the fact that they can take all this information. So you come into work and your boss says, look, there's this very complicated thing. For instance, I'm thinking about investing in this country. Go find out, and then our graduate at the end of that process will be able to collect the information to find out the things that the boss would be interested in, and then to put it into a format, either written or, I don't know, PowerPoint, right? To stand up there and push that information out. the kind of jobs available downstream to a graduate of this program. Analyst positions. We always need analysts. We need good, solid, intellectual heavy lifters to go out there and find this information and again be able to communicate it to people who actually can use it. That's the gist of this curriculum that we've built here, this business and strategic intelligence curriculum. And again, not only to communicate it, but also to be able to defend it, because sometimes things go wrong. But to be able to stand up and say, look, we built the best argument that we could, and this is what we think you should do, because no plan is perfect, right? To me, that's the end result that we want here, is somebody who's able to do that.